Good morning, and a big welcome again to Big Five Communications. We won't do introductions again because we had met yesterday. My task this morning is to share with you what our HIV and AIDS policy is here at Big Five Communications as per the country's legislation. I'm also going to take you through how we make sure our policy is implemented as was originally planned. Big Five's HIV and AIDS policy is given direction by 4 key elements, those 4 being prevention, care and support, protection from stigma and discrimination, as well as monitoring and evaluation of the actual policy. Under the prevention tier, what we do is we focus mostly on training, as well as HIV confidential testing and counseling. For the training, we have a full-out program where we do both online and face-to-face training at the campuses, because we're committed in this company to make this company a comfortable and a safe environment for you to work in, both by giving you current HIV information at regular intervals, and this we do by making sure that not only do you have information as employees, but we also as managers understand the legislation for HIV in full, and we also have information sessions at work that are interactive, where it's both the employers and the employees working together. What you have in front of you are booklets that really have a summary of the HIV legislation as it is stipulated in this country. If you could please take time to study these, as it is imperative that you know your individual rights around HIV, just and as around you as human beings living within the countries of South Africa. You'll find a training schedule within the newsletters as well. The training schedule covers a variation of topics, ranging from testing on HIV to promoting condom use for both males and females, as well as just elements that we put together to try and enforce an environment of openness, environment of disclosure, an environment of acceptance amongst all staff members around HIV issues. For HIV counseling and testing and confidentiality, we have a carefully selected team that's been psychoanalyzed, and they work as our HR management with also a team members underneath them. And we're fortunate enough that these 2 who head this department, one is a professional nurse who's trained and works as a professional nurse, and one is a psychologist, and they both head this department. So apart from their HR management duties, they also work to make sure that they run and manage our on-site staff clinic. As you will see when you were taken through the building, that we do have a site clinic that caters for all our needs within the company. Every member of our staff is required to sign a declaration and commitment form. That's just to say that you are aware of the policy that we have, that you've been taken through this conversation. Also to say that we need people to actually understand what our policy is, and also take a pledge, if I may call it that, a pledge to say that they will take it amongst themselves as well, to protect their colleagues as well around HIV, and to protect the privacy that people are actually entitled to as according to the law. From the clinic, we get confidential feedback from the nurses. Nobody, not including myself, has any access to these because by law I'm not even allowed to access them. We also have a suggestion box outside the staff bathrooms, as well as at the reception area, where we have obviously an opening for you to say anything you wish you see happening or what's not happening, or any suggestions you've got around how you can improve. At Big Five Communications, you as a staff member are entitled to prevention at all times of the stages, from when you disclose up to including when you actually are taking treatment at the on-site clinic, if you wish to do that. We also have care and support services that are HIV related within our on-site clinic as well. And that also, because I said, well, wellness includes your TB, all other illnesses and ailments that a person may be challenged with within your health. You will not be unfairly discriminated against in this company, and you'll have access to all employee benefits. And should you actually need to take leave, all right, or what we do is that we have alternative arrangements where that can be negotiated and discussed with utmost care and confidentiality with our HR team. And what we do is that we also have measures to ascertain if what we're doing, and because we monitor as we're going along within this care and support program. And this applies, this care and support program also applies to a stage when you really are sick, and the clinic is catering for you. Will not just be booted out of the company. We have measures in place where we'll take you through, maybe we'll take you to a different department to say, if it's less stressful, this is what happens, just to give you other alternatives of how you can continue working within the company. Discrimination in this company in any form is not tolerated at Big Five Communications for whatever reason and on any level. In this company, no one is allowed to discriminate against an individual based on whether it's an actual knowledge of another HIV status, or if it's a suspected information of HIV status. If anyone is found accused of discrimination at Big Five Communications, they'll be dealt with according to the company's disciplinary codes, and it can go as far as a person being asked to leave the company where they're dismissed. That's how seriously we take discrimination at Big Five Communications. All that I've talked about, obviously, then is all encompassed by a program where we have to monitor and evaluate what we're doing. So what we do, we've got a company that we are in partnership with, and they help us to govern, or rather to monitor what we do around HIV and our policy. And because otherwise it would remain on paper. It would just be a fancy-looking policy that sits on paper but is not implemented. Also, what we have is a business response to AIDS program that is modeled on different other factors that actually speak to one thing about how do businesses manage it. Because the whole point is for us to have healthy employees. So when I have people that are sick, then it's a whole ripple effect of the economy. So we follow a certain program as well, which is called a BRTA program. And this program caters for employees like yourselves who are new to the company. Also caters for facts that change around HIV on a daily basis. Because I mean, there's things that change from your medication to your prophylaxis. So we keep up to date with those. So we apply them to our policy as it's changing. Also, as well as the new and the amended laws as things are happening within the country. Please be assured of our passion for upholding human rights, and know that we will always ensure the dignity, the integrity and respect of people living with HIV remains protected. On that note, I'm going to hand over to you to ask me any questions you have on my presentation or the policy at large.
Yes, I have. I'd like to find out, I heard you mention the record keeping of the company and HIV testing. So do I need to disclose my status for your record keeping, or how do you guys deal with that?
No, Tabang, absolutely not. That is against the law. And you'll be strongly encouraged to bring it forward to the attention of senior management if anyone in the organization suggests you do so. You're welcome to disclose your status at your free will, and are encouraged to do so because we do have a support care and support clinic on site.
I would just like to know what happens if I'm sick and unable to work.
Well, your ability to do your job requires a standard that applies to all employees, regardless of their HIV status. If you're HIV positive and become too ill to complete your duties, we as a company will assist you. For example, by moving you to a different department, as I stated earlier. If an unfortunate case happens where you are unable to complete your duties as in spite of all the care and support you'll receive, then you will follow the usual incapacity process as we would for any other illness. In closing, please refer to your booklets, please read the newsletter as it comes out at intervals, and speak to your line manager, or speak to me for that matter. I thank you, and I really hope you found this presentation helpful, and I trust that your day will continue being productive.